Hello, welcome, and Khushamadeen. You're listening to The Note with me, Mahrukh Inayat. The whole of past week has been dominated, of course, by the demise of one of the most legendary actors of Indian cinema, Dilip Kumar Sahab, aka Yusuf Khan Sahab. But apart from that, one of the biggest headlines has, of course, been the dramatic, and I use the word dramatic, cabinet reshuffle that has been orchestrated, of course, by the Prime Minister and a big role being played by Home Minister Amit Shah. Now, in this episode of The Note, I want to talk about why has Modi Shah combine done this cabinet reshuffle, dramatic as it may be. 43 new ministers inducted into the Council of Ministers of Narendra Modi. Why has this happened? Number one, the first and foremost thing that comes to mind and is quite apparent is accountability. Now, what do I mean by accountability? Remember, in the past 1 year, because of COVID 19, the handling of the crisis, and especially the second wave, the way it hit the country, the images of people suffering because of lack of oxygen in hospitals, the vaccination drive, the criticism over vaccine production in the country has greatly dented the image of the Prime Minister. Narendra Modi has been seen by one and all as somebody who gets down and gets the job done. However, in the past 1 year and a half, that image has taken a beating, and that is something that the Modi Shah combine think does not augur well for Narendra Modi or the future prospects of the Bharatiya Janata Party. Remember, this party and this government is constantly in election mode. They look at everything from the prism of how elections can be won. So, this dented image had to be resurrected, and as a result of which, the message very clear from the Bharatiya Janata Party and the Prime Minister's office is we are going to remove the ministers that have caused enough damage to the party. 12 ministers have been sacked, some of the most prominent ones being Dr. Harshvardhan, the health minister, Ravi Shankar Prasad, Prakash Javadekar. All these ministers had been in the news, perhaps not for the right reasons, in various controversies. Dr. Harshvardhan, particularly because of the handling of the health crisis in the country. So it clearly shows that the Prime Minister and Amit Shah mean business. They want to get things in order before very, very crucial elections in the next 2 years, and of course the Lok Sabha elections in 2024. So the first and foremost reason why this cabinet rejig has happened is to show accountability, that we mean business, that ministers who are not performing well will be sidelined, in fact will be sacked, will induct new faces into the cabinet. Number two is allies and alliances. What do alliances and allies mean for the Bharatiya Janata Party as they prepare for 2024 Lok Sabha elections, as they prepare for Uttar Pradesh in 2022, Maharashtra and the other big states that go to the polls? What does this mean? It means that when the BJP came into power, especially in 2019, it came with a massive majority. The allies began to feel that the BJP does not need them anymore. Right at the forefront of that war was Shiv Sena. We saw a disintegration of the party, of the alliance rather, in Maharashtra, and now Shiv Sena, aligning with the Congress and the NCP to form the government there. Akali Dal, on the other hand, unhappy with the farm laws, which has caused a furor, particularly in Punjab. The feeling within the allies of the NDA, as it's called, was that the BJP does not need them anymore. However, the experience of West Bengal, where the BJP has seen a drubbing. Now, many pundits will say, or many BJP supporters will say, it was not a drubbing. Given that they only had 4 seats in the earlier assembly, they have made significant progress. And by all, counts, that has been the case. However, their own projections were to cross the 200 mark in the West Bengal Assembly, and the BJP was not even able to cross the 100 mark, which clearly, in that sense, becomes something of a huge lesson for the BJP and Narendra Modi as well as Amit Shah. And why is that? That is that no longer can Narendra Modi rely on his charisma, his endearing presence, and the love that people feel for him, being perhaps one of the most popular prime ministers in at least the last 20, 30 odd years, he's realized he's not getting the votes anymore. And he cannot get the votes for people that he puts up in various states. As a result, the BJP has realized the importance of allies. And that is a very crucial thing that one sees in this cabinet reshuffle. The way different parties have been accommodated, different regions have been accommodated, different SC/STs have been accommodated, OBCs have been accommodated, Dalits have been accommodated, clearly shows that BJP wants to bring in the allies back into the fold ahead of big elections that are coming up. Number 3, target UP. Uttar Pradesh goes to the polls next year. It's a very crucial state. Remember, in the second wave, we have those images of bodies piling up on the banks of the Ganga. We have images of how people have suffered in Uttar Pradesh during the second wave. These are images that still are, chapo, to use a word, in the minds of the UP voters. And what the BJP clearly realizes is, whether it's OBCs, whether it's Dalits, whether it's tribals, we need to bring them back closer to the BJP if they have to fight the likes of the Samajwadi Party and RLD in Uttar Pradesh. So we see about 7 new ministers being inducted, all from Uttar Pradesh. So now within the Council of Ministers and the cabinet, we have about 15 ministers from Uttar Pradesh. That's clearly keeping in mind Uttar Pradesh elections that happen next year. So that's point number 2. That's point number 3, because number 1 is accountability. Number 2 is making sure that allies are brought back within the NDA fold, they're kept happy ahead of 2024. And number 3 is target Uttar Pradesh. Now, what is the 4th point? The 4th point is health has become a priority for this government. And honestly, all of you hearing this must rejoice. Remember, health has never been a priority in our budgets. But given the pandemic and how it hit the country, given how vaccination has still been problematic, given how the second wave hit most of us, the lack of a health infrastructure has been exposed. The very fact that health is being given priority as far as this government is concerned is great news perhaps for all of us. That's another thing that comes out from this cabinet rejig. Finally, target 2024. Remember, like I said, the BJP and this government is always in election mode. They're realizing 2024 is 3 years, we're looking at 3 years before the next Lok Sabha elections happen. And given the lean, mean machine of the Bharatiya Janata Party, which is looking at making sure that everything is in place before elections, they're not like other parties that come into action at the last minute. They're making sure that all their homework is done, the allies are in place, they have a roadmap for 2024, and this cabinet rejig is going to play a huge role towards that. And finally, one of the states where the BJP has faced a lot of trouble with, they've tried every permutation combination and it hasn't worked, which is Maharashtra. They've got Narayan Rane, someone who has been with the Congress party, has then been with the Shiv Sena, and now comes into the BJP fold saying that he's ideologically, completely aligned to the Bharatiya Janata Party. That's how politics works. But clearly, him being brought in, he's a former chief minister of Maharashtra. He has great access and great influence in the state. And that is critical because the BJP has realized that it needs to get its act together in Maharashtra. So all of this, at the end of it, I would say that all of this comes this rejig has happened keeping elections in mind. For the Modi-Shah combine, winning elections is at the heart of their functioning. That critically is why this induction of 43 ministers in a dramatic move, which perhaps even most of the ministers didn't know that they would be inducted.